are 10 more unhealthy foods you probably eat every day. Find out which foods are particularly bad, even though they might not look it.
Hey, hands off my pickle.
I don't see your name on it, boy.
Processed cheese.
Spray cheese from the famous family of aerosol cheeses.
In America, we seem to like our cheese to be as bright and as orange as possible. Of course, we all know that processed cheese is probably not the best thing for us. Nothing that orange can be good for you. But most people don't know the full extent of how bad it can actually be. In fact, we can't even exactly call it cheese. According to a registered nutritionist, Jay Cohen, that slice of neon orange cheese contains less than 51% of cheese curds, which makes it more of a cheese product than anything else. So what is the remaining 49% made of? A bunch of unwanted preservatives and many harmful emulsifiers that can have a negative impact on your body.
Mind blown.
Since processed cheese has high amounts of salt and preservatives, it also contributes to high blood pressure, bad cholesterol, and various heart diseases.
Word to your mother.
In the end, it's just like everything else. You can eat it in small doses and moderation. Just try to avoid it as much as you can and opt for real cheese. Maraschino cherries.
Maraschino cherries.
Oh, and a handful of maraschino cherries on top.
You can put these iconic, bright red little cherries in practically anything, from milkshakes to fruity cocktails, only it might not be the smartest thing to do. Despite their fruit status, maraschino cherries should never be considered as such. They lose vitamins and minerals during the bleaching and brining process and nearly every micronutrient. They're also packed with almost 3 times as many calories and grams of sugar as a regular unprocessed cherry, all thanks to their high fructose corn syrup bath. The HFCS solution has been linked to metabolic disorders, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and other related chronic conditions.
This must be where pies go when they die.
And the cherry on top of this disaster of a food? Maraschino cherries are also mixed up with preservatives, dyes, and other harmful ingredients, like sulfur dioxide and calcium chloride to extend their shelf life, which is approximately 3 years.
I put a cherry on top. Booyah!
Basically, they have a lot of downsides and little to no nutritional benefits and should probably be left behind next time you want to decorate your desserts. Fried foods.
Is this chicken?
Hell no.
There's no arguing that a nice, greasy order of French fries or a steamy plate of chicken nuggets would be considered the ultimate comfort food by many. It's just so delicious and hard to resist. But it doesn't make it any good for you or your body. Fried foods are usually high in calories, fat, and often salt, and eating them on a regular basis can put you at risk of developing serious health problems like type 2 diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. High blood pressure and high cholesterol are also possible outcomes from eating fried foods too often, but it's even worse when those foods come from fast food restaurants.
My dad's a legend, and that's the least he deserves.
Fast food is often cooked in hydrogenated oils, which are very high in trans fat and raise bad cholesterol levels. It's all about the food having that satisfying taste and crunch, but at what cost?
Shut up and take my money!
If you really can't say goodbye to the greasy meals, frying your food at home is probably a better option, but it still shouldn't be an everyday thing. Frozen pizza.
Comfort food that loves you back.
As one of the most popular foods in the entire world, pizza has quite a reputation. You can order in, make your own, or even pop a frozen one in the oven whenever you're feeling a little peckish. While all of these options sound similar in terms of satisfaction, in terms of nutrition, it's a whole different story. Busy families and college students will often turn to frozen pizzas as their dinner of choice. However, most of the time, these are highly processed and contain worrying artificial preservatives, added sugar, and unhealthy fats.
Hey, well, as far as I'm concerned, progress peaked with frozen pizza.
They're also high in calories and sodium and can affect your mood and your weight. Most popular brands like Red Baron's Classic Crust 4-cheese pizza have pretty questionable ingredients such as L-cysteine hydrochloride, a salt that is normally used to treat overdoses, and ammonium sulfate, a lawn fertilizer. Oh, and we can't forget the 720 milligrams of sodium per serving it packs. As for Tombstone's frozen pepperoni pizza, it contains BHT and BHA, our trusty adverse preservatives.
Life is supposed to add up to something, not be some half-eaten slice of pizza.
When it comes to pizza, you're much better off taking the time to make your own at home. Ready to bake pie crust.
Hello, Hot Pie.
Baking can be a very soothing, very satisfying hobby to pick up, but sadly, it can also be quite time-consuming. In order to prepare delicious pastries and desserts like pies, the dough needs to be absolutely perfect, but that's usually the longest thing to do. This is where ready-to-bake pie crusts come into play to save the day, only they're not exactly saviors per se. Sure, they're going to save you a lot of time and trouble, but they could also bring you way more trouble thanks to their harmful ingredients. Let's take Pillsbury's pie crust, for instance, one of the most popular brands in the country. It contains BHA and BHT, two synthetic antioxidants used as preservatives in foods, but also in lipsticks and moisturizers. Long-term exposure to high doses of these controversial preservatives has been proven toxic in mice and rats, causing liver, thyroid, and kidney problems, as well as affecting their lung function and blood coagulation.
Okay, should you eat that?
Plus, the International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified BHA as a possible human carcinogen. With that in mind, you might want to take the extra time to make your own crust and avoid all of those downsides. Rice cakes.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of potatoes around here. We're rice men.
When you're looking for a low-calorie snack, your first instinct might be to turn to rice cakes. They look so innocent, but you should always be wary, especially if they have a bunch of toppings on them. That makes them even worse. They were particularly popular during the low-fat craze of the 1980s. However, they've greatly changed since then, and we shouldn't just assume they're the healthiest choice. Rice cakes don't exactly have the most impressive nutrient profile. Apparently, low-cal also means low nutrition. They contain only minimal amounts of beneficial vitamins, iron, fiber, and potassium, which makes them pretty irrelevant in terms of nourishment. So now let's talk about what rice cakes do have. High sodium counts.
Somebody told me this is a really good way to start your diet.
Obviously, that always depends on the flavor and how they're salted, but most of the time, the odds are not going to be in your favor. Added sugars and maltodextrin are also part of the mix, which only adds another line in the cons column. Eating rice cakes might make you feel like you're full, but that's only because of the air in them. In reality, you'll be missing out on important fiber and other important nutrients.
We know you not like rice cake.
Ricey, ricey, rice, no one like rice cakes.
If you truly want to keep eating rice cakes, just opt for the plain, flavorless kind and make sure you add lots of healthy things on top. Protein bars.
Somebody get this man some protein!
After a workout, on a hike, or simply after a long, hard day, protein bars can be a great way to refuel your muscles and give your body the energy it needs to keep going. They can be a convenient source of nutrition, and a lot of people turn to them to accommodate their busy and active lifestyles. The only problem is, most protein bars aren't exactly the picture of health, and it can be pretty hard to differentiate the good from the bad. It all depends on the brand, but the majority of protein bars pack a combination of belly-bloating soy, sugar, sodium, artificial colors, and high fructose corn syrup, which basically means they're trying to sabotage your health.
They're these weird nutrition bars my mom uses to lose weight.
Give me it.
And that's not counting all the calories and added sugars. If you thought you could avoid all of these by going for a sugar-free or low-carb protein bar, don't bother, they're just as bad. According to many studies, the artificial sweeteners used to flavor low-sugar foods have been linked to weight gain, sugar cravings, and cardiometabolic risk. Honestly, most protein bars should probably be moved to the candy aisle at this point.
Did you take one of my protein bars?
So next time you want to stock up on protein bars, just make sure you read the labels attentively and pick the right brand. Brown rice.
A single grain of rice can tip the scale.
At first glance, brown rice is pretty healthy. It has countless health benefits and packs a lot of nutrients like antioxidants, fiber, and beneficial compounds that can help reduce the risk of heart disease. It is also an excellent source of vitamins and minerals. It practically sounds like a saint. However, no matter how great and full of benefits brown rice can be, you still might want to consider switching your Chipotle order to white rice for one unique reason: arsenic levels. Indeed, arsenic, one of the world's most toxic elements, has been detected more often in high levels of brown rice, according to recent analyses conducted by the FDA.
What if this could change the world?
A burrito.
Yeah.
Naturally occurring in water and soil, arsenic can be found in a variety of foods, but rice is especially prone to carrying it. That's because rice easily absorbs the arsenic from irrigation water, soil, and even cooking water, making it more susceptible. Long-term exposure to high levels of arsenic can have many negative effects, and in some cases, even result in death. It has also been associated with skin, bladder, and lung cancers, high blood pressure, as well as heart disease and diabetes.
There's a practice wheel for when I lose my foot to diabetes.
So if you have the choice between white and brown rice, maybe go with the white. Pickles.
Can I eat the pickle?
Well, there's a lot of salt in it, but yeah.
Either on their own as a snack or as a way to elevate your burger, pickles always seem like the right answer. And while they are pretty amazing, you should think twice about overindulging in these bright, salty treats. You may have noticed how radioactive most pickles look with their fluorescent color, and it shouldn't be a shock to learn that this is far from natural. Many brands will go to great lengths to have the greenest pickles in the supermarket and will add a bunch of yellow dyes to their jars, which is part of what makes them so unhealthy to begin with. Yellow number 5, or tartrazine, is the most commonly used artificial dye, and it has been linked to hyperactivity in children.
I'm Pickle Rick!
Pickles are already naturally green, but apparently not green enough to be worthy of anyone's attention. Brands like Vlasic will also fill their pickle jars with polysorbate 80, an emulsifier that's been linked to cancer in mice, as well as sodium benzoate shown to damage mitochondria. But even without all of those added unnecessary ingredients, pickles still aren't the healthiest of vegetables.
What? No way!
That's because they also have a very high sodium content, and in the long run, that can contribute to high blood pressure. So if you have blood pressure problems or cardiovascular health issues, you should probably stay away from pickles, or at least look for low-sodium options. Bottled water.
Shame. Shame.
Okay, not technically a food, but still something that people consume on the daily, and they probably shouldn't for the sake of their health. Many people turn to bottled water to avoid drinking water from the tap, but in reality, bottled water might be worse. Forget that it's extremely bad for the environment and that countless campaigns to reduce the use of plastic bottles have been put into place, but it's also really bad for your body.
Shame. Shame on you!
Shame on you!
Bottled water can contain a hormone-mimicking chemical found in almost every food packaging plastic, BPA. Yes, the very scary BPA that can lead to various unwanted hormonal changes like early puberty in women, obesity, and increased rates of reproductive cancers. It basically acts as a faux estrogen and can cause a variety of chromosomal abnormalities, birth defects, developmental disabilities in children, and decreased fertility. While more companies are choosing to sell BPA-free plastic water bottles, it's still a rather common component. Nevertheless, even those without BPA still have their fair share of chemicals, like phthalates, which have been linked to an increased risk of cancer.
You truly are the king of kings.
So your best bet? Just drink from the tap. Stick around, leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button, and tap or click on another great video.